Gramline's sawtooth profile was created so that the good side is both sides. This video is designed to be an A to Z guide of how to correctly install your Gramline fence and Gramlat lattice, so that their great looks and features last for years with minimal maintenance. Before you start, make sure your fence complies with council regulations, that you know the location of underground services such as electricity, gas or water mains, and proceed with caution. Beware of changes in soil condition and make sure the hole depth and amount of concrete will suit your job. Detailed information covering this and all other installation aspects are available from Gram Engineering. Gram Engineering always recommends sloping the fence rather than stepping for a better overall appearance and a stronger fence. Longer sheets may be required for raked panels to achieve the full fence height. Subject to local regulations, tapering the front of your fence will provide a better looking and stronger fence. A longer top rail is required for a full-length tapered panel. A shorter tapered panel can be made with a standard rail. To complete the job, you'll need these tools. Self-drilling screw gun with clutch system, spirit level or magnetic level, rubber mallet, string line and marker peg, tungsten-tipped hand cutter, nibbler if cutting is required, tin snips if cutting is required, scissor shovel or spade, spud bar, wheelbarrow and larry hoe, hacksaw with 32 teeth per inch, earth leakage circuit breaker, personal protective equipment such as safety glasses, safety footwear and protective gloves, and hat and sun lotion for skin protection. Allow 2 days to do the job properly. First, peg out a string line where the fence will run. Then measure and plan your fencing panel spacings, making sure to avoid 1 sheet or 4 sheet panels at the end of the fence run. Start at one end of the string line. Mark and then dig your first post hole. Hole depth will be determined by the soil type. With firm clay soil, as we have here, our hole will be 600 millimeters deep, and remember, holes should always be wider at the bottom than at the top, and at least 200 millimeters in diameter. Use a non-permanent marker pen to mark all channel posts on the inside to position the bottom rails. The mark is measured from the top of the post and is determined by the sheet length plus 10 millimeters. Fasten the posts together before installing them into the ground, and ensure that the backs of the posts are aligned before fastening them together. The first and last post of the fence run must have at least a 50 millimeter square rolled hollow post in addition to the standard channel post on all freestanding ends. Channel posts are not designed to be freestanding. You'll need 9 self-drilling screws colored to match the fence, spaced at 300 millimeter centers for each pair of 2400 millimeter posts. However, galvanized screws can also be used. And use a clutch drill to avoid over-tightening. The use of Gram's 10 by 16 by 13 self-drilling screws will prevent the sheets catching on the screws, making things much easier. Before you put the first post into the ground, fully mix the wet concrete according to the manufacturer's specifications. Contrary to popular belief, dry mix poured into a hole might seem convenient, but it doesn't offer the same performance as properly mixed concrete. Place your first post into the hole using a spirit level to align the post vertically in both directions and adjust it to the correct height. This will be a tapered panel where the lower end is 900 millimeters high. Gram strongly recommends tapering the first 2 panels of a fence where it extends beyond the front of a house. Tapering not only looks better than a stepped fence, but is much stronger than leaving it at full height. And remember that tapered panels require longer rails. Make sure to allow a minimum 50mm gap between the fence and the ground to avoid any build-up of soil or garden fills. Now fill the hole with fully mixed wet concrete and ram with the spud bar to ensure the hole is fully packed. It's very important to make sure the top of the concrete slopes away from the post to drain away water. Use the bottom rail to determine the second post position, making sure the bottom rail lines up with your marks. Then fix the bottom rail with self-drilling screws to the first post. Place the next pair of channel posts, already fastened together, into the hole, making sure that for aesthetic purposes all screw heads are facing towards the front of the property. Align the post vertically with your spirit level in both directions and adjust to the correct height. Then fix the bottom rail with self-drilling screws to the post, maintaining the 50mm gap between the ground and the bottom rail. Now fill the hole with fully mixed wet concrete, sloping the top away from the post. To finish the frame, take the top rail, place it on top of the posts, then mark and cut to the required length for the tapered panel. Place the appropriate rail into the posts, then fix on both sides with self-drilling screws. Don't fully tighten the screws at this stage, because these are removed later to insert your gram line sheets. Make sure the top rail protrudes 2mm above the top of the channel posts to provide a neat professional look and to reduce the risk of injury. Repeating these steps, you'll complete a fence for level ground.